Guys, welcome back to Match Reaction Champions League. Last 16. We are now through to the quarterfinals. Arsenal 2, Bayer Leverkusen 0, winning 3-1 on aggregate. And listen, it was a good professional win by the lads. Can't really complain too much about the game. I thought everybody pretty much did their job. And yeah, it was a good professional win. We had quite a few shots. I mean, apparently, which I'll come into it, our stats was quite good in terms of shots. I think we had 12 shots on target and something like 21 shots in total to compare to their 2 shots on target. So we was hitting the ball and from outside the box, a great goal was saw by Eze and also Declan Rice. But we'll get into that a little bit. But just to get into the team news, obviously 2 changes were made with Trossard coming in and Ben White coming in on the at right back because Timber obviously wasn't even in the squad. I'm hoping that he's going to be fit for the game on Sunday. Him and Odegaard apparently, I think Arteta was saying that they'll possibly be available for that game, but Ben White comes in. I was a little bit worried. I'm not going to lie. I was a little bit worried about Ben White coming in. We were obviously not playing for a while, and I thought he would have gone with Mosquera. But to be fair, Ben White wasn't really troubled. And to be honest, Bayer Leverkusen were pretty toothless. They didn't really hurt us. He had a couple of flurry runs up the wings and whatnot, but nothing to really worry about. There was a great save. I can't remember who headed it. There was a great save by David Raya, reaction save by David Raya. And listen, he's a great keeper, very good keeper. Do you know what I mean? One of the top keepers, in the country and obviously in Europe. Top 3 at least, top 3, 4, 5 in the country in Europe. So sorry about this. I've got a bit of a flu or cold or whatever's coming on, so I'm a little bit under the weather. So please forgive me. But yeah, look, as I said, the back 4 was Ben White at right back, Saliba, Gabriel, Pierre Ankipai came in at left back. And then in midfield, we had Zubimendi, Declan Rice. And then on the left-hand side, we had Trossard. And on the right-hand side, Saka. In the middle, we had Eze, who I thought had probably the best game. Very good game, got man of the match. Well taken goal. As I say, it was fantastic. And then Gyökeres up front, who I felt played okay, held the ball up well, running the channels, you know what I mean? Just, if he had his shooting boots on, maybe he would have got a goal tonight. I was willing him to get a goal tonight. But look, the good thing about it is that we kept a clean sheet. It was a very professional job. It's looking, not even looking, who we are going to be meeting, Sporting Lisbon, in the quarterfinals, and Victor will be going back to his old club, and I'm quite sure Arteta will definitely play him in those 2 legs. So looking forward to the quarterfinals. As I say, we've got a final on Sunday, and so it was good to see Arteta taking off some players and bringing on players, and we'll get into that as well. But yeah, the game in itself, as I said, a very good professional win by Arsenal. As I say, when I look at the stats, we had 12 shots on target. They had more possession than us, 59 or 58% possession to our 42. And total shots, we had 21 to their 9 and 12 on target to their 2 on target. And we had quite a few corners, but we just couldn't seem to break them down when it came to corners. But we had so many chances to really, really put this game to bed. You know what I mean? The first maybe 5-10 minutes, a bit tentative, but then we started to grow into the game, and then we started to create the chances. As I said, you had Trossard, had a few. The thing with Trossard, for me, just he can be frustrating at times. He's probably the only player on the pitch tonight, I would say, that really frustrated me, because sometimes when you want him to pass the ball, he doesn't, and then sometimes he takes shots that you're thinking, why are you taking a shot now? Do you know what I'm trying to say? So for Trossard, he would probably have been the worst player on on the pitch. You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, it didn't really matter because we win the game. Do you know what I'm trying to say? We win the game. But Eze, I thought, had a great game. Very, very, very industrious, but also showed quality as well. You know what I mean? And he was pressing, and I liked his work rate as well. But the goal was well taken. The ball, that was one in midfield. Declan Rice wins it, plays it onto Trossard. Trossard lays it off to Eze, and in one full swivel, he hits it top left-hand bins. The connection on that ball was absolutely fantastic, and we make it 1-0, and that was in the 36th minute. Fantastic goal. Do you know what I mean? Because you see, at that point, you're just thinking, right, okay, our time was coming. You're thinking, come, we need to break down this team. We've had loads of shots, and we just, weren't able to just finish our dinner, basically. And then second half, Declan Rice wins the ball in midfield, makes a lung-busting run, and plays a nice. He hits the ball low, and kind of curls in the bottom right-hand corner or left-hand corner, depending on how you look at it. And you think at that point, the game is put to bed. As they did sort of come down, I think if it was his ankle, I'm not too sure. He was when he fell down, and that. The good thing about it, Arteta made the changes quickly. He didn't let him play on. He took him off. Brought on Kai Havertz for him in the 69th minute. Martinelli came on for Trossard, and Christian Mosquera came on for Ben White. So and Norgard came in for Zubimendi. We've got, as I said, we've got a game, a very important game this Sunday, and we have to go into that game. Man City losing to Real Madrid and losing, I think it was 5-1 on the aggregate in the end. I think it was 5-1 on that aggregate. Bernard Silva getting sent off for a handball on the line. It was checked by VAR and got a straight red. So City, losing that game, going into the Carabao Cup final off a beating off of Real Madrid. And to be honest, I was watching the game after the highlights, and just the atmosphere at the Etihad, it just seemed really, I don't know, I can't really describe it, but it just seemed dead, if just the way you want to put it. Just like, it's just like the game just kind of petered out. I thought, I think they knew their fate, and now they got to go and focus on the Carabao Cup final this Sunday. We go into this game upbeat, beating Everton, them dropping points against West Ham, losing, to Real Madrid. So we're the ones that are going into this game buoyant. But listen, let's not take them for granted. They have got good players. We need to be on it. As I say, it was good to see that Arteta made the changes. So give him that. And the players that Kai Havertz, when he came on for Eberidge as what did he really do? Not much. Not going to lie, he didn't really do much. I really thought Gyökeres held up the ball well. I was really pleased the way he held up the ball. Just unfortunately, he didn't get a goal tonight. Ran the channels really well. And hopefully, he's going back to his old club. Maybe he'll do something special there and score against his old club. So that's going to be interesting when we do link up to play him again. So I'm really pleased with the performance tonight. Very good performance, good professional win. There's not really much you can say. Do you know what I'm trying to say? All round, everybody, the fans were pleased. The place was buoyant. You could hear the Bayer Leverkusen fans. My mate was at the game too. My friends were at the game actually, and they sent me a video, and you could hear the Bayer Leverkusen fans just like they're really loud. When it comes to these foreign fans, they seem to just bring an atmosphere that you're just thinking, wow. Do you know what I'm trying to say? But look, it didn't help them in any way, shape, or form. Bayer Leverkusen did after the sort of looking at them, were really toothless. You know what I mean? They didn't really offer much, as I say, and we comfortably win the game. So there's not really much more to say. That I'm pleased that we're through to the quarterfinals. We're in a final of the Carabao Cup. We're 9 points clear, in the league. Albeit that we played one more game than Man City. Talk about quadruple. You know what I mean? Don't let's not be kidding by this. People are going to look at this and go, yeah, Sporting Lisbon. Look, I think, when we was looking at this draw, we wanted Sporting Lisbon more than we wanted Bodo Glimt. But again, Bodo Glimt got pretty slapped up tonight, by Sporting Lisbon. They come from a 3-0 deficit and win 5-0 at home to win 5-3 in aggregate. And so they've got some good players there. We've beaten them already, you know what I mean? So, and beaten them comprehensively, So we should be confident. But when it gets to these kind of stages, anything can happen. We will go away to them first, and then they face us at home. And in between now, I say our next Premier League game is not to the 11th or 12th of April. In between that, we've got an FA Cup and we've got the Champions League legs to be playing as well. So Man City are out, so they only need to really focus now on the FA Cup and on the Premier League. So we've got more games to play. I'm just hoping that the players that are coming back, we listen, we are running on fumes, you know what I'm saying? But it was good to see that Arteta took players off today and didn't leave them on. Saka stayed on. Did he need to really stay on? He could have probably brought on Madueke, but he kept him on. Darwin, I'm glad he didn't bring him on. Not to be fair, I'd probably love to see him maybe in the Carabao Cup final at some point. You know what I mean, and to hold him back for that. So just in case if things ain't going the way they should, and you can bring him on and he could have a magic moment and win us the Carabao Cup, you just don't know. But yeah, very well. I mean, Man City can be got. Their defense is not good. I was watching them against Real Madrid today, and the defense was not good. The highlights that I saw, they're very open. Whereas Arsenal, we got a really tight defense. But it's just our attack, it's lacking a bit. But look, today, Eberechi Eze with a lovely goal gets, believe, player of the match, and Declan Rice also win the game. So in general, not much more I can really say about the game. Enjoyed it. We're through to the quarterfinals. A good professional win. We move, and we'll see you on the next match session. Take care, and God bless.